This is Mita. It's Mita speaking. I am your astrology journalist because I break the news before the news happen. I use astrology to predict the future. I use astrology to even tell you what's happened in the past and what is happening right now, what will happen in 20 years time and in your entire life, just relying on astrology. Check out my post page or my website for all the other predictions that I've made in the past and which have come to be 100% on point, right? Hello everybody, hey love lovers. Now this is part 2 and which is going to just focus on the timeline. I have already dealt with the background and the history, and now I just want to go straight into the background, into the timeline. So it's going to be the timeline for June, the month of June, and all the way up to the end of July. So let's get into the detail. Do check out my website for services as well as astrological news and get updated. I have spoken about the global expectations when it comes to Israel and Persia in my last video, like part 1. And so that's why today I just want to zone in, as I had said before, as I had indicated before, that I would like to zone in because it is an interesting study from an astrological point of view, very unfortunate on a human point. Everything is alleged because I might say things that seem so informed, to the point that they seem like intel. So everything is alleged, speculation based only on astrological movements. I am reading at what the planets are saying in terms of their placement compared to us on this earth, right? So I am expecting that from the 21st of June until the 6th of July to see a lot of chaos. There could be a lot of chaos, instability for both parties. Some definitely manipulation because this is a war zone, and some grief and disappointment. Some people could be losing things very dear to them, or people are really dear to them, right? So destruction, chaos, and those are the themes to be expected from the 21st of June until the 6th of July, right? So I will be speaking for both, as in give one theme for both, because most themes will be similar because this is a war. So we are expecting both parties to be anxious, both parties to be stressed, both parties to be manipulative in terms of strategy and all of these. These are things that are expected from a war zone. So both of them would be experiencing similar feelings, similar ways, and then I will highlight how they differ and when they will differ for each country, right? Now, what I see or I foresee for Israel from the 21st until the 30th of June, right, there will be a need to resist diplomacy or resist a direction that goes towards diplomacy. So there could be challenges also from within the structure or from within other forms, like other structures outside, because at this point I am expecting, obviously, as I said, both countries have influence from foreign people, from foreign countries, And so there would be those forces, some are introducing diplomacy or diplomatic formats, and I do see Israel being very resistant towards this point, like challenging the notion of peace, and or going against, being contrary, from being diplomatic and finding a resolution. I do see that. So this will be happening between 21st and 30th, so there would be a force of foreign influence wanting this to be resolved, calling for this to be resolved, and then Israel being hesitant, from doing that. But it is not being hesitant out of nothing. It is also about preserving itself. So it would be about self-preservance, and as well as highlighting its goals and its position, because Israel, from the chart, it does show that they see themselves as, the elite, like the country that has every answer, that has the truth, that is the golden, country, the chosen one. So they do see that is what is reflected from the chart. So this resistance towards this diplomatic way would be about preserving that status that they've given themselves, that pride, right? So that is visible for this date. Now let's move on to the next dates. Now, from the 22nd of June until the 28th of June, right, I do see a demand or a threat pertaining to resources, pertaining to money, pertaining to investment. So I do see that threat. So it's either Israel is giving the threat or is receiving the threat of somebody withholding money or investment. So it's a case of, if you don't do this, I don't give you this money, I don't give you this investment, you don't get to gain from, these resources and stuff like that. So it could be them saying this. As I said again, it is a foreign involvement, so it's a third party from a foreign country, or it could be United States, or it could be any other country that they are relating to. So I do see this play card, this threat of, if you don't do this, then you don't get support financially, when it comes to your fortune and all of this. So there is that card that is going to be played here. So it could also be relating to weapons, whatever Israel that holds dear to them, as part of their empire. And then this card is going to be played here. So this would be around from 22 June, I'd say, up until 28, 29 June. So this would be visible, particularly around the 24th, 25th. This becomes very crucial, these 2 days, 25 and 24th. Yeah, but then the range, it's starting as early as like the 22nd up until 28th or 29th of June. Right, let's move to the next segment. Then from the 28th of June until the 3rd of July, I am expecting, or I am seeing rather, some emotional turbulence. As I said, it's a war, so this is expected. But I do see also some resentment at this time coming up, more like a burnout, or feeling like anxious, don't know what's gonna happen next, who's against us, who's for us, so there's a lot of this scattered thinking at this time, looking around for solutions, or who's our ally, who's really our ally at this time. I do see some also like self erasure, more like withdrawing, because of this, I would say, tainted feeling, and over their status as well. So there could be a controversy at this time that comes up. controversy could be maybe regarding to a leader. A certain leader said something or says something that is bringing that whoa factor, and now there's a bit of panic. So I also see some sort of a blind loyalty towards a certain country, a certain partner, or a certain alliance here, because there's a lot of now friendship and alliance that becomes in question at this time. So this is where they could be weighing as well, who's with us, who's against us at this time. So I do see a bit of critical comments being made, so they could be made from them or towards them at this time. So that is visible, like a lot of controversy at this time is coming up. And there's this thing of wanting to have the status shine, but maybe because of this, then the controversy comes, or some maybe because they manipulated something and that comes up, that's a bit possible as well. But as I said, manipulation both sides is expected at this time. I mean, when you're in war, all the strategic maneuvers and things are expected at this time. So that I do expect that controversy coming up. Now let's move on. There are definitely other things that are going to come up that I'm seeing, but for this video I'm just going to focus on these minor details, and then I think I'll just continue reporting on this with the war. As the war is continuing, I also continue astrologically, because as I said, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of things to break down from an astrological point of view. So from the 3rd of July until the 8th of July, now there would be a scandal being exposed at this time, because Ketu will be active. So at this time there would be something revealed, something it could also be an attack or an outburst or an outbreak of something that's been trying to be stabilized or hidden. So that is the period of having that broken up. So particularly around the 6th, so 6th would be the time, but obviously that whole period from the 3rd until the 8th, so it could also be the 2nd until the 8th, right? So I do also see some self-sabotage, but then because it's a country, that means then it's possible there is somebody from within the group, from within the leadership, that is acting against the country. Something like a spy, or somebody who's leaking information, and therefore coming into this scandal, being exposed, or this exposure of something, or an outbreak or attack, with information as well. I also see restlessness, like trying to do quite a lot of stuff at a short period of time, trying to achieve so much, and also trying to hide secrets. So this is a very secretive time, right? Everything is being hush-hush. People are trying to act quietly, but at the same time, because Ketu will reveal what's being hidden when it's aspecting the sun. So this is what is going to be expected. I also do see a lot of deception, but highly possible deception from within. But of course, because this is regarding Gemini and the sign of Libra, that also includes other people, partnerships as well. So highly possible there would be disappointment or deception, strictly from a partner or through information. or even from within, as I said, because I do see an agent within that is acting in a self-sabotaging way when it comes to the country. I also see that at some point they would feel like, they have to survive, or they are a survivor of, maybe that scandal that I'm seeing, or whatever it is, attack through information, or whatever it is. So that is highly, highly visible for this period, right? So then from the 10th of July until the 12th of July, actually until the 14th of July, now Mars will be highly active at this time. It will be heightened, and as we know from astrology, that Mars represents wars, bloodshed, assertiveness, passion, and just picking up the muscle, showing up your muscle. This time is going to be heightened. So I do see more like depending, really, I see them depending on someone or a partner or an ally, and they are forcing or forceful, when it comes to this partner supporting them. I also do see some delusions, trusting the ally, but then the ally is not really there. So there's a lot of idealization of what will happen, what is happening, more like, having high hopes that are difficult to achieve, or high dreams, high objectives that, at the end of the day, they're not really practical to achieve in a short period of time. So I do see acting on impulse. I do see being very impulsive here, and because of the impulsivity, there could be an action that is taken, so just without thinking, without proper planning, and which could lead to chaos at this time. I also do see some volatility in terms of emotions, in terms of planning, in terms of just the results at this time. Just some self-destruction as well, because there's this obsession with winning, or with coming up on top, or being the great, right? So, which obviously at most times is leading to arrogance. But I mean, this is war, as I said. So each side is being a bit arrogant, because they both want power or want to win, and so that part is highlighted here. I do feel though, or I do see some sense of victimhood, or victim mentality. So it could be maybe losing something, losing a strategist, or losing a resource, a skillful resource. So bringing up a bit of fear and stress, like heightened stress here, feeling like they are drowning. So it could also be like a literal drowning, like where there's like just disasters coming up from here and there, needing to be closed. I do see a bit of recklessness for sure, because lack of planning leads to recklessness, just shooting without aiming, shooting aimlessly, so I do see that at this time, right? In addition to what I just said, so it is also highlighted just until the 15th, so that whole period basically of 10th until the 15th of July. I'm also seeing that agent, that enemy from within. So as I said, it could be an ally, or it could be literal spy, or somebody who's leaking information, or who's working against the Israel government, like from within. Though I do see that coming up quite a whole lot. And I do see it being critical around the 14th. Whatever they're doing, this agent or this ally that is like friendly with the face, but at the back, they're doing something. I do see them more like giving false information or false intelligence, or maybe just twisting the words or twisting information, but being intentional of making things appear one way whereas they the other way. But as I said, it could be a self-sabotage, meaning that the country itself is doing that to itself, right? But through its strategies or mal-planning, like just malfunctioning basically, right? So I do see this manipulative behavior, I do see deception, and as well which are based on being power hungry. So if it's an ally or an intel that is working against the country, it's all about power, right? They're trying to up their position. But if it's the country itself just working against itself through its bad planning and doing all of these things because it's hurrying to get into the winning position, winning power, being the top party from this war, then there could be these deceptive ideas or deceptive actions that are happening. But I do see words, like seductive words being spoken, as I said, trying to make the sheep sleep whilst you're cutting off the wool basically. So basically you're very internalized poison. I do see like an enemy within is working here, and as a result there could also be some repressions of emotions, or some people might know about it and they prefer not to speak, or they are scared to speak, or but something that is forcing them to shut up, to just hold their emotions or whatever they could be seeing or witnessing, or I don't know much of the actual politics, like how people fight, so I'm just talking from a point of astrology. I also do see sadness, like there's a sadness, disappointment here, and as I said, feeling a bit of recklessness, no planning properly, but also trust. There's a trust that is made on this party or on this person. It could be a leader, I don't know, but they are like solely depending on this partner, ally, whatever, third party, and there could be that emotional disappointment, and again that feeling of they the victim, something has happened to them, it's heightened at this time as well. So what else do I see? I do see check yeah, that's what I see for this period, right? That's what I see. So exposure of secrets, somebody working within, or the country self-sabotaging itself, or an ally is sabotaging the country, a trusted person, trusted party is not really acting the right way, showing one face here and then turn around and act the other way, right? So I do see that. And what else do I see? Gosh, so I do see close to the 13th, I would say close to the 13th as well. Here there is a boundary that is crossed, or that is erased, more like a leader, I wouldn't say stepping down, but a leader being shady, a leader being invisible, or not being trustworthy, or some shift in the dynamics regarding to the leader or a leader or the leaders, and it could also be the leadership itself or the country regarding how it's leading, its people. So there could be that shadow coming over this part, and a lot of feeling like, okay, we are not being recognized, or this leader feels like I'm not being recognized for my efforts, or the Israel come out, they say we're doing a lot of things to lead towards this way, but we're not being appreciated for these leadership efforts that we're placing. So there's also that feeling then of being vengeful, like, okay, you don't see who I am, what I do, therefore I'm not happy and I want to get revenge. I really want to get revenge, right? And words spoken at this time would be very, very blunt, like they won't be sugarcoating. They will be just saying what they feel, how they feel it, and not trying to shush anything or anyone anymore this time. So a high space of, or a high period of being really irritable at this time, so around the 13th mostly, so it could start around 11th until the 15th. Very irritable at this time, like don't touch them, because at this time they are really just feeling emotionally ticked. So let's move on to the next part. And then from the 14th until the 25th of July, here, this is when things could explode and be highly explosive at this time, because Mars will be agitated, will be highly agitated at this period. And there could also be, some aggression, and that is coming from withdrawing from saying some things, so, and then it just comes out poof, just like that. And I do see erratic behaviors or decisions being taken so abruptly, like a lot of impulse at this time, and just wanting to break every structure at this time. Like they don't care if you're not with them, you are being cut off. Okay, we're cutting you off. That would be how they're feeling right now, just rebelling against allies, rebelling against anyone who's trying to place them on a limit at this time. So they could be feeling like we're the winner, we're the leader, we're the country that must win and is more powerful, right? So I do see that. And they could also be planning towards is self like reservation, just to reserve what they have or what they are or who they are, right, as a country. The 26th becomes a very critical date. So 26th and the 25th, 26th. So these dates become critical at this time. So I would say also around the 21st and the 22nd, also so big, and so let's move on to the next part. So right now, as I'm recording this on what's the date today? It is the 21st of June. So since the 6th of since today the 21st of June, so it could have been even started last night, or just afternoon yesterday, the 20th, until the 25th. The Venus of Persia is active right now. That means that they want to talk diplomacy, they want to have a solution done. They are up for it, they are open for it, because their Venus is active right now. It's going to be open until the 25th of June. So right now, don't be surprised if you hear leaders from Persia, from Iran saying, actually, we want to talk about it, we opened for discussions, because it would be true based on their Venus at this time. Now, however, through that, there is a lot of also double face. So they are wanting to be diplomatic, but in the background they are planning for whatever, they are just planning for whatever, but they are open for diplomacy or diplomatic discussions right now due to their Venus. At the same time, I do see that they could have a tendency of having a all talk but no follow-up. So it's like they would come and say, hey, look, we open for discussions, here we are, and then when another leader comes and makes a follow-up, like, okay, cool, let's start, and then they don't come to the table anymore, or something changes, so I do see a whole lot of talk without necessarily wanting to have action or intending to have action towards that talk or a follow-up at this time, right? So it's more like a performative, situation whereby they know that we must, show this beautiful face, this diplomatic face, that we are calm, we are open and all of that, right? So it's very strategic, but very diplomatic as well. I mean, this is how, some strategies involve, some sort of, played cool. So it's understandable. I also do see that there could be fears. So there could be something that they are fearful of. So hence they would, prefer to show face and, propose some solutions, right? Because maybe they are having a lot of burdens that they have to handle and they need something from somebody else, so they must show face. I also do see that they could also be seeking attention, really, like doing things that want to grab attention from someone. So maybe they have a target or a targeted country that they want to have their attention by all means, so they would be doing things just to grab that attention. And I also do see some instability, right now. And as I said, it being indecisive, saying one thing and then, acting the opposite, or like you don't care after that, right? So I see a whole lot of that. There could be some impulse as well that could come through, right? And because they also fear of losing control. So there's this fear of losing control or losing an ally, or I don't know, like a resource, like, so there's this fear that is there. So decisions could be made based on emotions rather than logic at this time, right? So that it is highly visible. Now let's move on to the next part. When it comes towards the end of June, so around the 27th of June all the way to 5th of July, so 27th until 5th of July, I do see a whole lot of action from Persia's side, from Iran's side. Now this is an action time. Now this is no longer we're showing face time. This is no longer time to say, oh, we're being diplomatic now. No, this is now time for action, time to show fire. I do see well, as I said, I mean, manipulation is everywhere, but there is a lot of aggression right now. So there's a lot of passive aggression. So it's not like out there aggression, but it's sent in symbols, or in small actions, or in a way to show that power, to show that space, like performing, but now performing in a real action way. And I do see some wounding as well. I do see some wounding. So it could be wounding in terms of image or whatever, or it could be in terms of, the literal form of the country. There is a need at this time to be defensive, like to show defense. There is a need to, have a lot of hidden strategies at this time. I do see refusing to collaborate at this time. So that point of being diplomatic, open for discussion is closed. Right now, it's all about defense. It's all about defending the ground. And now, because a lot of stuff has to be hidden secrets, like there's a lot of background work now, whereby they have to work silently in the background, secretive. I do see some paranoia or fear of what could come next at this time, like a bit of feeling like, oh my gosh, we could be the target now, right? So I also do see a need to sacrifice something. So they could be sacrificing a resource, a skill set, or an intel, or they could be sacrificed. Something has to be sacrificed. Something could be information as well. Something must be given at this time, to be able to plan it in a quiet space or in a hidden manner. But I also do see, because of all of these things, then having a stagnation, like whereby things are not moving as fast as they would like at this time, right? So that is there. And of course, being reckless is there for both parties. It's a war. There is no time to really move like a tortoise, right? And through that wounding, there could also be a need to withdraw, a need to, as I said, go into hiding and plan and revision and try to take all the strategies that are impractical and be placed on our scale now, because I do see some impractical visions being placed out or being put out or being suggested by some leaders or within the camp or the country itself, but that would obviously lead to this wounding and the need to withdraw thereafter, right? So 30th and 1st of July become highly sensitive dates. So the 30th of June and 1st of July, maybe 2nd of July as well, they become highly sensitive dates for Persia or Iran at this time. Then looking from the 13th of July until 20th of July, again, Mars is still active here. Mars is still doing its thing. But at this time, I do see some disillusion or being forced to submit to something or submit to orders or threats of somebody or a party or a country. I do see a submissive nature at this time, or being forced to be obedient, right? So maybe somebody could be threatening them that if you don't abide by international laws or whatever, right, then you're being punished or whatever. So then I do see Persia or Iran at this time trying to walk the fine line. I also do see some duality, because it's like in the background they know what they want to do, but because they're being forced into this corner, so now they have to kind of cover up their muscle, right? Cover up their muscle at this time, because they don't want to lose something, or they don't want to be placed on a certain level, right? So I do see that coming up at this time. So obviously insecurity, because if somebody is threatening you or they want to take something, or you're not going to be able to do something that you want to do, then you feel a bit insecure. You feel a bit like somebody's trying to erase you, or they don't want to give you the voice or the platform, right? So so that is possible. That is visible at this time for Persia. And I think for now I must stop here, and I will continue as your astrology journalist to bring you more news. I will be following all these wars and current events, because it is interesting to see what is happening from an astrological point of view and why they are acting the way they are. Because we do know, as according to all the religious books, they say that what is happening above, it is also happening here, So that's it. I'll chat to you very soon. I'll catch you on the next one. For now, I must say thank you, happy to, and ciao.